Hello, everyone. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023 at 9:15 a.m. in the morning. I have to check out of this hotel and I'm too tired to even go to my storage unit. Excuse me. Too tired to go to my storage unit. And I don't know if I'll go or not. But it looks like as if it's supposedly a nice 71 degrees this morning. And I don't know if the rain has stopped or if it was still rain or anything like that. But so I had woke up I think at 8 o'clock this morning, and I tried to make a couple of phone calls. They had a low income disabled. I mean, I don't think it was disabled. I meant to say a low income apartment complex in a nearby city. I'm not gonna say the name because of the online gang stalkers stalking everything I do. And the lady told me that the waiting list is 2 years. But when they had this person who told me about the place, and she told me to go and look, you know, check out the place and stuff. And so I called, and the lady said the waiting list is 2 years. That's the housekeepers. So so the lady said the waiting list is backed up to 2 years. So someone suggested that I call a place in a different city, and that place turned out to be a domestic violence shelter. And so that place turned out to be a domestic violence shelter. So they just gave me local resources here, in which I've already tried whatever local resources there are, and even the REAP program will not help me. Opening doors won't help me, and this and that program won't help me. So the farthest I was able to get with Catholic Charities is like a one time thing, or I think it happened twice, but opening doors, it seemed like as if they give you a hard time and give you the runaround. They give you the runaround, you know, and they won't help, or they make things more difficult. And there was a point in time that they had blocked my phone number, my other number, you know. So, I mean, they force you to go through this financial management class, and then after that, Catholic Charities give you just a week in a hotel, and then afterwards, you know, like I had tried to get that cottage to stay in and a few other places, and the perps hijacked the place. Just like the room that I was supposed to get at the other hotel this past Friday. The gang stalkers, like that lady was an obvious perp, and I got her fucking license plate too, but I didn't get her catch. I mean, because I was in the car with that girl, so I didn't want to jeopardize her by filming or taking pictures of the gang stalkers while I was in the car with her, But she dropped me off, and they were there before I got there, and it's like I didn't even announce. It's like, how did they know I got help with the hotel room? They were planted there and hurry up and bought up rooms and everything. People who look too rich to be there. So with the cottage, perps who were too rich, perps who were rich enough that they probably owned their own boats and marinas and stuff, they hijacked that cottage that I was supposed to get, fraudulently and illegally driving in a Jaguar car. I don't care how raggedy or old the Jaguar was. It was a luxury vehicle, even though it was old and raggedy. And they had a deceitful looking smile on their face when I was supposed to go look at it. I did go and look at that cottage. And the man went AWOL on me and was ignoring my calls, but he kept on putting ads up for that cottage to live in that was like $475 a month. And that was before the C word happened. This was like, ow. As soon as I said that, they hit me in my right side of my ribs. So it was like between January and March 2020 this happened. And so every time if I try to go to opening doors is right across the street from fake ass unlucky cab. Um Opening doors, when I try to go there, they refuse service to me and say, "Oh, you got to go online." And I'm like, "Well, how come all these other people coming up, you know?" And then they have this difficult application online. So it's like they will refuse to hear. I'm like, y'all already have my birth certificate on file. So, and I don't know why a homeless agency needs your birth certificate anyway. Why they just didn't just take your license or whatever. But they want your birth certificate too. But even then, they give you the runaround and don't help you. And they straight up say, well, it's not our job to help you find housing. Well, what are y'all here for? What are y'all here for if you say it's not your job to help us find housing? I don't get it. But it's like in Mobile, Alabama, there was really no help either. Couldn't find housing or a job or nothing. And a lot of apartment landlords ignore my calls, whether it be Section 8 or Craigslist or any regular apartment, unless you're a leasing agent with a major apartment complex or something. But more like private landlords or stuff, they ignore my calls. Um, they ignore my calls. But I need to be careful where to live at because I couldn't afford to live in a place like Pensacola Village. And I'm pretty sure they don't have any openings either. But if there were openings, um, it's like it's too dangerous to live there. And the online perps will be like, "Oh, Candy thinks she too good to." No, I'm trying to preserve my doggone life. If if it's that dangerous and unsafe to live somewhere, as I said, why do they lump the poor people with disabilities? They lump you up in the same category with gangsters and criminal gangsters and thugs, where the cops are always there and stuff like that, you know. And so, I would hate to move in an apartment complex or live somewhere where I'm got a fear for my life and can't even expose the gang stalkers. But I'm pretty familiar with downtown, that spot. So, in the place that they used to call Truman Arms, they never answer their phone. And I heard that it's a dangerous place to live. And last I checked, they don't have openings either. And Pensacola, like they cater to the rich. It's run by Masonic sodomites, and it's like there have been corruption with these organizations like REAP, and it's like REAP and other organizations have been busted and exposed for corruption and keeping all the money. And Opening Doors has said that a couple of years ago, they said that they had came into some money, and that person who gave me false hopes at Opening Doors, she her name was Angeria Bridges, and she's Jamaican, and she juiced my head up and gave me false hopes and then went AWOL on me. And she said that they had funding coming in, lots of funding, and they were supposed to help me. But these fake religious organizations, it's like they force homeless people to pay to live in shelters. And like that Salvation Army that I recently went to, with the one top bunk that was broken, that I couldn't get up there. It's like heavenly blessings, where they have you pay to live in a pig pen. They have you pay to live in an overcrowded pig pen, where the women are they're too close up on each other. The bathrooms are way too small, and it's very easy for me to get bullied and mobbed out of there. And I can't be around noise. As I said, that abusive, narcissistic perp cab driver that was training me, he forced me to go up there. I didn't want to go up in there because I knew what would happen in these doggone shelters. So I went up in there, and they said it was only one top bunk bed, and it was very wobbly. And they tried to say, "Oh, well, can you get up there?" Well, if it's too damn broke, like it's clearly broke, how can I get up there? I'm not gonna injure the person below me, injure or kill the person below me by just getting on top of the bunk. And Yeah, it was frightening and intimidating being there. And as I said, oh, like the online perps, they talk about, oh, Candy thinks she's too good to stay in a Salvation Army shelter. That's $10 a night. How about you go stay there? I've stayed in plenty of Salvation Army shelters. The first one I ever stayed in, I think, was the Bronx in New York, where I think you had to pay to stay there, and they would confiscate your cell phones and shit like that, and won't give it back to you. I had to get a new phone. So, what makes you say that if I think I'm too good to live in a place where you pay to live in prison, where you pay to live in prison and can't eat what you want, and that place where the Salvation Army is here in Pensacola, there was a point in time when there wasn't a Salvation Army shelter. But they used to call that exact place, they used to call it Women with Clear Vision. And they charge $600 to stay there and have trillions of rules. And then I described how disgusting that place was. And they mobbed me out of there like by the next morning. And then they clapped and celebrated when I left. On Christmas morning of 2019, the roommate Sarah was a perp and tried to frighten and intimidate and bully me and forced the room to be cold when it was cold outside and I was trying to turn on the heater. And she tried to provoke an all-out fist fight. And she was definitely younger than me. It was a white girl named Sarah that was a perp. And she kept blasting loud music out of her phone, but they wouldn't let me have my earbuds to block out the outside noise. And doctors aren't giving me any they're not trying to give me a doctors aren't trying to give me a doctor's note for my hypersensitive ear condition, a medical documentation, and also for my Tourette's and stuff. And even when I was compliant with the doggone mental health system, they still refused to give me, and the foster care psychiatrist, she diagnosed me with Tourette's. And then I've been to a couple of neurologists that confirmed that I really do have Tourette's. And then I had that pandas disorder growing up, where I had strep throat when I was 7, and then afterwards they say that by a certain age you end up with full-blown both Tourette's and OCD, coupled up with Asperger's syndrome. So I have been diagnosed with Tourette's officially and was seeing neurologists for my Tourette's. So, but they either won't give me a doctor's note or they charge me an unaffordable fee for a doctor's note. A doctor's note stating that I really do have Tourette's. But they would have fake perp social workers and mental health case managers. They'd be like, oh yeah, I don't see you with Tourette's. But the Tourette's is, they just ignorant. It's like, what are you in this field for? And you don't even really know. They're like, oh yeah, I don't see you with Tourette's. But I have videos of Tourette's episodes and you even see me having tics in a lot of my videos, in which people say that that's the directed energy weapons or remote neural monitoring causing the tics and outbursts and forced speech and stuff. So I have to keep a track on the time. So now I have 4 more days until I get the Social Security check. And I have enough for food, but not quite enough for another hotel night. This right here is very stressful and dreadful. So yeah, I'm just really scared. I mean, scared, suffering on the streets. And it's just evil and cruel that they're doing this to me, you know. And it's like you have to be narcissistic to be a man that want, or even another woman who wants a woman to be forced homeless. They're blocking me from making a living or even getting a regular job, and then people make it like as if to have a real job meaning is a W-4 and W-2 rather than independent contract or independent job. I don't know why people think that self-employment is fake, or they think the only real job is to be a slave working underneath someone, or working underneath these satanic corporations. Oh, go get a real job. So, you know, being blacklisted and nobody wanting to give you a chance or nobody wanting to hire you. I mean, or if you're seen as considered unemployable, I mean, people are blocking my right to live, survive, and exist. And then as I say, to have adequate needs will improve anybody's mental health. But that won't make the stalking go away. It seems like even if a TI sells out, I heard that they're tricked out of their soul and still. And I'm like, well, is this the reason why if people are perping and being perped at the same time after they're sold out? I mean, the gang stalkers lied to targeted individuals and say, well, if you take this deal, see, as soon as I start to talk about that, they're talking loud near my door. So, they said, well, if you take this deal, then, and if you become a perp and do this, see, get the fuck away from my door. Y'all hear those fake, crusty, ignorant ass men right outside my door? They must be from Mobile, Alabama, because they talk country as fuck. So, I was trying to say that the perps would tell a targeted individual, if you take this deal, then, and if you gang stalk for such and such amount of time, then, we can get you off the gang stalking list. And then a lot of the so-called targets, they accept the deals, and then 6 months later, they're back to being perped again. I'm like, well, if you played the role of calling me crazy and schizophrenic and saying I need medication, or they're going to say, oh, Candy is wrong for getting in the gang stalker's face. Oh, well, she going to fuck with the wrong one. Well, they got videos of you confronting gang stalkers and shoving cameras in their face and confronting them too. Or did I say confront? Yeah. So if you confront them and get in their face and stuff like that, why don't you deserve to die? Why do I deserve to die or get killed? Oh, Candy gonna mess with the wrong one. Well, how come it's not schizophrenic when you do it? But it's like you're playing both sides and you're mad at me because after I found out you're a fake TI perp. And they do stuff like when other professed targeted individuals are going through something, um, and it's like one thing they want to be like, oh, well, we targeted individuals, we need to stick together and stuff like that. Well, why do you have my account blocked before I can even know who you are? Oh, we TIs need to band together. Now it's like I don't even trust like the professed targets that act like perps. They're more dangerous than the regular perps. Or they would respond to everybody else but militantly ignore my comments and posts. So I'm not even giving newer people in the even in the so-called TI community. I'm not giving out. I'm not giving out this new number. I gave out. It seemed like everybody who I gave this new phone number out to, they all turned out to be perps. Each and every one of them. And I feel like it's a perp thing to do. You know, for people to try to silence you talking about your targeting. Or they're making like something's wrong with you, the fact that you're still being targeted. And then they sell out to the devil and pretend that they found Jesus. But their works and their actions show that, that they're working for the devil while they claim to be for Jesus. Dang. So I wish I had help with the hotel room for tonight, like $60, and if I can go to the other hotel. Yeah, so the online perps are having mockery videos, you know, mocking the idea of me, quote unquote, begging $60 a night for a hotel. But would you pay $600 or $800 to stay in a shelter where they take all your money? Would you pay to go and stay in a shelter where, in a homeless shelter, where you're forced to eat the same loaf of bread with somebody with menstrual blood and diarrhea on their hands? And I can't believe all the other women went and without a problem, and they went and ate out that same bag of bread, the same loaf of bread, and I was considered the only crazy one for refusing to eat out of there. And I already reported to. I already talked to y'all about how disgusting these shelters usually are. Would you eat menstrual bloody and diarrhea bread, and the bread is already old and moldy, like blue mold on it? The bread is already ruined with being old with blue mold, and then somebody come and um you know take and put their hands inside that got menstrual blood and diarrhea, and put that and be the first to put their doggone hand, like gross, like disgusting. And you're supposed to accept that as normal and forced to pay all your Social Security income just to live in a pig pen, an overcrowded pig pen. Shelters are full. And then it'd be bed bug infested. I mean, they really don't care. They really do not care. The staff do not care. And they're living nice. The shelter staff is living nice off of our income. And then we pay to stay to live in the shelter. If we paid us so much to stay, exorbitant amounts to stay in the shelter, people don't question, well, where is that money going that the public is donating? Or where is our money going? And then they act like pimps and treat us like we owe them drug money when they want the money up front. And then they try to be slick. The staff be trying to be slick. If they're gang stalkers, they try to manipulate and set up a scenario to see, there they go again. Like, why y'all talking so fucking loud near my door? See, those gotta be sex traffickers that y'all are men talking loud near my door. Each time I try to go and say something important. So now I lost my train of thought. So I forgot what I was saying just now. And their fake crusty loud ass conversation just now, I'm pretty sure it was not important. But nobody questions where the money is going. Why do the shelter staff need community donations if we got to pay everything for ourselves? And then you see a lot of people on the streets. And then that Mark Horvath guy, that invisible people, it has one eye. The logo has one satanic one eye symbolism. And he was supposedly former homeless, but he traveled the fucking world. And there are only a very small amount of people who pointed out that he's exploiting homeless people for his own gain. And he claimed that he was stalked for 8 years by somebody, but he ignored me and got an attitude with me when I and a lot of professed targeted individuals follow him. So he refuses. I guess he thinks that he will lose his monetization. And then for him to act like he wants to help out homeless, it seems like only he's allowed on his platform to ask for donations, but homeless people aren't allowed to ask for donations. We're not allowed to ask for donations or put out GoFundMe or Cash App or whatever. But they handpick which homeless people to help, though. I guess the ones who make a deal and sell out are the ones who get the help and get out of this situation. And they got a lot of homeless druggies that be selling out. So, I mean, I couldn't stay in the Salvation Army shelter in New Orleans, nor the New Orleans mission. The Salvation Army is bed bug infested, and they don't give a damn. So that's what forced me to have to be on the streets in New Orleans. And then they ganged up on me and mobbed me out of there. It's very frightening. These shelters are frightening. And people say that the shelters can be more dangerous than the streets. So it looks like as if there's no place I can go where I can just instantly get a low income apartment or a housing arrangement or anything. So so yeah, I mean, and struggling to survive day to day. And it's like there are people who want to force me to live this homeless life and won't allow me to progress or better myself. They won't even give me a decent job. A decent job. A job that pays well. I never got paid good money. Never had a job where I can get paid good money. Never in my life got to have a salary job. Ever. Everything got to be a low wage, close to minimum wage. And that's abusive narcs controlling everything. So that's why I try to take matters into my own hands and try to be my own employer and employee, and I can hire and fire myself with my writings. So I got $2.09 from one of my ebooks that somebody must have purchased like 2 or 3 months ago. Whoever that was, thank you. So I've gone several months with nobody buying my ebooks at all, but I try to share them for free, and it's a more like a person not liking me as a human being. Not It's not about them not liking my writings, but if they just don't like me. If I was selling t-shirts or mugs or something, nobody is interested because you don't like me as a person. So I don't even have an easy way to get up and go and move to a different city and state. And if I do, then I would it'll suck because I would have to leave the storage unit behind and still be paying on a storage unit unless because I have like narcissistic abusers talking about, oh, you're wasting money on your storage unit or whatever. Well, you're not paying for it. Mind your business. So I have important medical papers that I can't even be carrying around, or important documents that I can't even be carrying around. So and I can't move back to my hometown, New Orleans. There's no housing there available for me either. And it's too loud in New Orleans, even on the West Bank. It's not quiet. You know, they make sure it's not quiet. That everybody got to be loud, ghetto, and ignorant, and reprobate because they're brainwashed and dumb. I mean, at least here, like at this hotel right here, last night it was very quiet. So you know, man. So this morning, I guess I'll have the last. I really didn't even want no Reese's, but I like the Justin's peanut butter cups, and I love the chocolate sea salt and peanut butter. So Reese's, yeah, it tastes like shit now. Like when you've tried a natural alternative, like say if there was a natural alternative brand to Doritos or something, you end up liking that version better than the regular Doritos. So yeah, the Justin's peanut butter cups shits on Reese's. I really, I mean, I don't, I mean, the Reese's that I was just eating, it doesn't even taste special. It doesn't even taste that good, really. I used to love Reese's, but the Justin's has simpler ingredients and it tastes way better. And then I learned that you can make natural food taste good too. And it tastes cleaner than the commercial junk trash. So I guess I just eat the last of the Reese's and those barbecue chips. They don't even taste like barbecue chips, but the chips are orange. Like they have orange coating on it and they're sweet as hell. So that's all I got to eat. But I have, enough money for food, but not enough for a hotel room. So, I mean, it's scary. I'm scared to have to be on the streets tonight and suffer for the next 4 nights: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, I'm supposed to get the Social Security check. And I dread going downtown. So, I'm gonna go for now. I gotta go for now, and I'll see y'all. I have the information in the description box of almost all my videos on ways y'all can help me. And don't listen to those videos with the online perps working extra hard and being desperate to smear campaign and lie on me.